Welcome back, Jetfish fans. It's been a while, but for the last 3 years, the pandemic put a hitch in our plans to fish Christmas Island. So hopefully the third time will be a charm and we'll get there sometime in early 2023. Now today we're going to tie arguably the most successful bonefish fly ever, the gotcha, created and developed by Jim McKay and his son Todd. Gotchas or gotcha-like patterns span a number of popular flies, including Crazy Charlie's, Christmas Island Specials, and the fly we tied on the last video, the Moana's Chili Pepper. A couple of options exist for tying this pattern. First, the color. We're going to tie this fly as the pearl variation. However, two other common colors are pink and McKay's, both with more of a sand wing. Second, you need to determine where in the water column you want to present the fly. We're going to tie this with the heavier nickel dumbbell eyes for a deeper presentation. Now, if you want the fly to ride mid-column, bead chain eyes are a good choice. And for thin water or top action, you can just go with no eyes at all. The last option is hook size. For Christmas Island, the most common gotcha sizes are the number 4 and the number 6 hooks. But check with the guides in your area to see if a different size might be needed or is getting results and is productive for that area. I'm going to tie this on a Gamakatsu SL11 3H number 4 hook. You'll start by laying down, a base wrap using the 140 Ultra Thread in fluorescent shell pink, starting at the eye and moving along the shank back to the bend and returning to within a dumbbell length of the eye. There you'll cross wrap in a medium brass dumbbell eye in nickel with some figure eights and a couple lock wraps. I like to add a drop of Wapsi head cement to the eye wraps just to increase durability. Next, you'll tie in the tail with a length of flat diamond braid in pearl. I like starting directly behind the eye with a lock wrap around the braid, pulling it even and tying it in back to the bend for the tail. You'll extend and trim off the material about the same distance to the eye and return your thread and stage it behind the eye again. At this point, you can use your bodkin to separate the tail fibers. Next, you'll add in the body with the flat diamond braid and pearl, the same way we did for the tail, stopping at the bend. Return your wrap to stage your thread in front of the eyes. I found it easiest just to attach your hackle pliers about 4 inches down the length of the braid and cut it off to wrap the body. Here, a line of head cement along the shank body and between the eyes will definitely increase the durability. Continue overlapping your braid wraps toward the front of the fly, and when you get to the eyes, complete one round wrap to finish on the front of the eye and lock it off. Now trim off any excess and do a couple finishing wraps to close any loose edges. Here's where we tie in the wing material. And to do it, I'm going to turn the fly hook up in the vise. I'm using the Extra Select craft fur in white with about a 1/4 inch square patch cut from the material. Now be sure to strip out any bulk or loose fibers at the base and ends before tying this piece in place. Again, lay in a couple of finishing wraps to close the cut edge of the fibers. The final piece is to tie in the collar. I'm using about a 4-inch, 4-strand section of polar flash in pearl for this, simply locking in one side of the hook halfway down the length, folding it back over the opposite side of the hook, and finishing the fly head off with 1 or 2 whip finishes. To extend the life of the fly, I like to finish the head with a light coat of Solar Res Bone Dry, hitting it with a light to cure and harden the finish. For the last step, I like to trim the angle of the tail and wing to keep any straggler fibers from tangling in the hook. And that's the classic gotcha. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to see more about prepping for the big Christmas Island trip. And until next time, good fishing.